Hi, everyone. I'm Madeline Driscoll. I'll be facilitating today's Ask the Expert session. I'd like to welcome you and thank you for joining us to learn more about the Azure Marketplace. I work on the commercial marketplace planning team, and myself and my team are responsible for engaging with customers and partners to define requirements for new experiences and functionality in the marketplace. Today, a panel of my peers have joined me to answer your questions related to Azure Marketplace and new Marketplace functionality, which is now available in public preview. We also have a few behind-the-scenes team members who will be answering questions and providing resources in chat. To participate in today's session, please submit your question in the chat box. Approved questions will be shared with all attendees. You can also use the thumbs up to vote up a question, and then questions will be answered in chat and verbally by our panelists. We're excited to be here and looking forward to hearing from you during today's session. Before we get started, I do want to share a couple of tips to ensure a great discussion for all of our participants. First, the session may be recorded. Next, to ensure that we have an inclusive, respectful experience, please adhere to the Microsoft Code of Conduct. This includes avoiding posting or saying any inappropriate or disrespectful comments. We ask that you please be polite and treat others as you'd like to be treated and have fun. Lastly, we'd also like to ask you not to share this content in social channels. So with that, I'd like to ask our panelists to introduce themselves, and I'm going to start with Shai.
Hey everyone, my name is Shai Sand and I'm a product manager on the Marketplace engineering team. My specialty is in public and private marketplace domains, and I'm excited to be here.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Felipe Ospina. I am a director in the commercial marketplace team. I focus on our experiences for our customers on our two storefronts, Azure Marketplace and AppSource.
Hello, my name is Masako Kodama. My role is to understand the pain points of customers and figure out what needs to be true in Microsoft Commercial Marketplace to support our customers.
Great. Thanks for the introductions, and thank you to our panelists for joining us today. Now that we've met everyone, we would like to hear from you. So as a reminder, you can submit a question in the chat box using that thumbs up to vote and raise that question to the top. To start the conversation, I have a question for Masako. Yesterday, we announced private Azure Marketplace public preview. Masako, can you share the background story as to why we created the private Azure Marketplace?
Thank you for asking that question, Madeline. I am excited that we now have public preview of private Azure Marketplace. Talking to multiple customers, we learned that every company is at different stages of digital transformation. First, management will ask IT pros to move to Azure to have agility and innovation. Azure Marketplace can help IT pros find, try, buy, and deploy cloud application in an efficient way. You were successful in migrating to cloud, but finance will ask you to manage IT costs. Legal and procurement ask you to align with companies' supply and compliance rules to have governance in Azure. Azure Marketplace needs to have a feature that will support IT pros who are facing competing priorities and pressures. From our interviews with customers, we learned that every organization has their own rules and standards. One company say that they look at financial status of a publisher. Another company say that they have a restriction on the country they can purchase. We also heard that a customer wants to have control on the versions they use because they want to reduce support tickets. There's no one-size-fits-all for compliance and governance. That is the reason we are introducing private Azure Marketplace. With private Marketplace in the Azure portal, your organization can control which partners' applications are available to your users. This enhanced governance allows organizations to maximize agility and innovation without compromising security and compliance. There are 3 steps to use private Azure Marketplace. Number 1, global admin assigns Marketplace admin role. Number 2, Marketplace admin curates partner software. Number 3, users find, try, buy, and deploy from approved application at private Azure Marketplace. For details, please visit aka.ms/private Azure Marketplace. Back to you, Madeline.
Great, thanks Masako for sharing that great overview. Would like to continue the conversation with a question for Shai. We learned about the needs of organizations as we were designing private marketplace, and we received fantastic feedback from customers during the private preview. Can you share some of our learnings that were incorporated into the functionality?
Thank you, Madeline. That's a great question and a true statement. We did learn a lot throughout the design phase. We made sure to connect with our top customers in order to learn about their needs. Echoing what Masako said, we learned that there is no one-size-fits-all for compliance and governance. This is the reason why private Azure Marketplace has the flexibility to meet your needs. Our primary motivation is to keep on listening and learning about the customer. We learned that some might look at financial status, and some might have restrictions on country, and some might want to govern which specific plan they want to allow in order to assure compatibility with the system.
Great. Thank you for sharing, Shai. I'll share more at the end of this session on how you can join our Insiders program to participate in providing feedback on new functionality in the future. Right now, I'd like to turn to Felipe with a question that's come in. While users can explore the Azure Marketplace catalog on a public website, they must have permissions on the Azure subscription to buy or deploy software. Can you talk about some of the controls that are in place and how the user experience is the same or different between the online store and the Azure portal?
Thank you, Madeline. So around Azure Marketplace, we have 2 customer experiences. One on the online store at azuremarketplace.microsoft.com. Users can visit the online store and browse without being authenticated. You can preview all the products. You can discover through ratings and reviews and use the various filters available to start browsing the catalog. Once you're interested in acquiring or deploying a product, you will have to do so using your Azure account. You can sign up for a free Azure account at azure.com and log in into the Azure portal, where you will also be able to experience the Azure Marketplace. Within the experience inside the Azure portal, you will be able to deploy, try, and test solutions very easily within your Azure subscription. So it's very easy to sign up. You can visit azure.com and find information on how to create that free account to get started. Back to you, Madeline.
Great. Thanks for that explanation, Felipe. If you have any follow-up questions, I encourage you to just go ahead and submit them in the chat. I'd like to return back to Masako. With Azure Marketplace, there are private offers and private marketplace. Can you describe each of these features, how they're different, and how they could be used together?
Sure. Private offer is really good when there is a direct connection between the customer and the publisher. Customer, especially a big customer, they want to have their own terms and conditions. Maybe they have negotiated the price and you don't want to purchase at the public price. That is the time that we use this private offer. Private offer will be a one-to-one relationship between the customer and the publisher to give that flexibility of the pricing and also terms and conditions. Now, private marketplace, on the other hand, is you are curating the software application from the third party. Maybe some are private offer. Maybe some are public offer. It is up to the customer to decide which one you wanted to show to your users so that your users can deploy. And maybe I heard from one of the customer that, hey, we have this beautiful application and we have this private offer, but people are using other version and not this one. That way, as an IT admin, you can curate only the one that you have private offer. It's up to the customer to decide, and both are complement to each other. Back to you, Madeline.
Great, thanks for that overview, Masako. It's important that you touched on that we're providing customers choice in deciding how they want to deploy to their organization. Shai, this next question is for you. Can you explain the process for applying new marketplace admin permissions? What is this role and what does it allow the user to do?
Sure thing. Thanks for asking. So applying the marketplace admin role can be done using PowerShell, and the script itself can be found in the public documentation at aka.ms/private Azure Marketplace. In order to assign the role, you need to have access to a global administrator user. The tenant has at least one subscription, and the global administrator user has elevated access. The role itself is a RBAC custom role, and it allows the user to create the private marketplace. It allows the user to add, edit, and delete items from the private marketplace. All that said, let me share a little teaser. From feedback we got during development and private preview, we are currently working to simplify the role assignment even more, and even though we will continue to support PowerShell as a method for applying the marketplace admin role, we are also working on the option of using the Azure Portal UX. Back to you.
Great, thanks, Shai. I love your answer and that it also shows that the development process is ongoing and iterative based on customer feedback. So again, another plug for that Insiders program. We welcome your participation so you can help inform future releases. Felipe, I'd like to turn it back to you. There's so many offerings in the Azure Marketplace from Microsoft and Microsoft partners. How can customers find what they're looking for and compare the various offerings?
Thank you, Madeline. It's actually very simple. Customers can start by visiting the online store at azuremarketplace.microsoft.com. And on the top navigation bar, they will see a traditional search keyword box where they can search for their product. They can also search for a company's name, a publisher, and conduct their search that way. On the left, they'll also be able to explore by very commonly used categories like AI and machine learning, security, databases, and several subcategories underneath. Finally, there is a set of very intuitive filters on the top of the screen where customers will also be able to find products that are free, that have different pricing models, such as, for example, BYOL, or if they're interested in pay-as-you-go solutions, there is also a filter available for that. Users can also find applications that deploy using Windows or Linux, searching by operating system. And finally, filter on Microsoft products, as well as products from thousands of Microsoft partners that have software available in the marketplace. Those filters are also available in the Azure Marketplace experience within the Azure portal. Once, as a customer, you find the application that you're interested on, you will see a tile card or app card, and you'll be able to click on it and obtain information on that application, look at ratings and reviews and comments from other users. So we encourage you to visit azuremarketplace.microsoft.com to start the learning process. Back to you.
I love it. Thank you, Felipe. Another question for Masako. As a buyer, how can I inform the publisher to use the pre-negotiated terms and conditions for our company?
Yes, and thank you for asking that, Madeline. So, as I said, there is a private offer, and this needs to be done by the publisher. So what happens is you are going to talk to the publisher and say that, hey, we wanted to use this terms and condition, and the publisher is going to enter the tenant. And then that way, when the customer visits, and anyone in that customer tenant will see that there is a private offer for you. So you see the banner up and say, click here for a private offer. That way, you as an IT pro, you don't have to inform everyone that this is going to be available. It will be there and will be easy for users to click. Back to you, Madeline.
Great, thanks for that overview, Misako. I'm going to return back to Shai with a follow-up question. A few minutes ago, you told us about the new role of the marketplace admin. We had a question related to better understanding what level of granularity can marketplace admins manage the marketplace. Can you speak a little bit to the publisher, offer, and plan levels?
Of course, no problem. Yes, so management of the curated allowed list is all the way to the specific plan within the offer, meaning that the marketplace admin, as a marketplace admin, you can be more selective on which version of the offer is allowed and which is not. This is an additional tool in preventing compatibility issues. In Private Marketplace Management Blade, you can see a drop-down menu that can be used to choose the specific plan we want to allow in Private Marketplace. Back to you.
Great. Thanks, Shai. Felipe, I have a follow-up question for you as well. So you told us how customers can find offers in the marketplace. We know it's also important that organizations can trust software and services found in Azure Marketplace. What does Microsoft do to help ensure the quality of those offerings?
Yes, thank you, Madeline. So Microsoft has a offer certification process in place with a qualified team of experts that reviews all of these offers to make sure they are compatible and work appropriately for our end customers when deploying into the Azure Marketplace. So there are technical as well as content validations on those offers, so customers can be reassured that the products they buy on the marketplace will work as expected.
Great. And for those of you that attended the breakout session on this same topic, I wanted to follow up with Misako. During that session, the speaker mentioned something called a Microsoft Azure consumption commitment. And that sounds like Microsoft speak. So I hoped, Misako, that you might be able to tell us more about the Microsoft Azure consumption commitment. What is it and why should I care?
Yes, thank you for asking that question, Madeline. So Microsoft Azure consumption commitment. Some people say commit to consume as well, but it's a commitment between Microsoft and the customer. You wanted to, as a customer, you know that you're going to use a lot of Azure and you want to have a good price and you want to have a negotiation with Microsoft because I am going to commit to your Azure. Now, that is where this, we call it MAC or Microsoft and Azure Commitment Consumption in there. And the idea is, hey, we are always partner driven. Microsoft and partner are working together. So whenever you purchase a solution on Marketplace that is applicable, you will decrement that commitment as well. This is a testimonial that Microsoft is working with the partner. And in this marketplace, it has the infrastructure, which is Azure, and also has software. And then the idea is this: if it is the applicable application, you purchase a partner solution, and that amount will decrement the commitment with Microsoft. And this is how we see that the partner and Microsoft are together, and we are working together. And that's one of the evidence that we always work with the partner and commit with the partner and to serve the needs of the customer. Back to you, Madeline.
Thank you, Misako. That makes a lot more sense now. And now I can also understand the interest in this new Microsoft Azure consumption commitment. Felipe, we understand it's easy to buy software through Azure Marketplace. How exactly does it work? Do I need a credit card or is there another purchase mechanism?
Yes, thank you. That's a great question. So it's very, very simple. To purchase, all you need is an Azure account, and to sign up for an Azure account, all you need is a phone number and a credit card. You will be given $200 to spend within the first 30 days. And then there are also hundreds of products that are free. In the marketplace experience, you will also be able to filter for free products as one of the options if you're interested in deploying applications and trying them out, as well as free trials. So there are multiple options that as a customer you have to try out the Azure Marketplace, engage with products, and not necessarily pay upfront for these products. Once you are engaged and you have conducted either a free trial or tried out a product, there are hundreds of options of paid products that you can also deploy using your Azure account. So it's very simple, and you can start with just signing up for an Azure account and finding more information on how to do that at azure.com.
That's great. Thank you, Felipe. And related to spending, I have a follow-up question from Misako. We know it's crucial for IT to govern and manage the software used within their organization while still allowing flexibility and agility to innovate. How can they manage and monitor spending and deployments?
Yes, thank you, Madeline, for that question. Actually, this question came a lot during the private preview with the customers. And then the good thing is we have this Azure cost management. And in that Azure cost management, you can look at it and filter with the marketplace and then look at how marketplace spending is going on. Now, you may want to have more detail. And that's where you can download in Excel of which resource group is purchasing which software from which publisher, with what time, and how much was it. So that you will understand as an IT pro, you will understand, okay, maybe this resource group is spending too much and it is going a little bit too much. That way, you can say like, hey, maybe I'll put a budget in the cost management. And you say, you were using $10,000 per month, but I'm going to put a budget of $5,000 per month. And I'm going to have a warning when you use $4,000. Everything can be possible in Azure Cost Management. And if you combine the function of Azure Cost Management with the private marketplace, then you will have what control the cost, control what is deployed, and also monitor and see and take action. Maybe you decided, instead of this premium version, maybe I will only allow a standard version. So as an IT pro and marketplace admin, you go into the private Azure Marketplace and select standard and not allow the premium. So all those are in the fingerprint tips of the IT pros so that it is manageable. It is agile. Like you never know what is needed from the customers or the users. And you just need to monitor what works, what doesn't work, and take a step. Back to you, Madeline.
Thanks for that overview, Misako. And hopefully that answered the questions, but if it didn't, please submit any follow-up questions for Misako related to monitoring spending and deployments in the chat. In the last few minutes, I do want to turn back to Felipe. Let's talk about the software and services provider experience. How can Microsoft partners get started publishing their offers?
Thank you, Madeline. It's very simple. When you visit azuremarketplace.microsoft.com, there will be a link on the top navigation menu on the right side of the screen that says Sell. And there you will find information step by step on how to go about doing that process and submitting your application for the Azure Marketplace. So through the website at azuremarketplace.microsoft.com, you will find that information on the top navigation menu.
Great. Thank you, Felipe. I'd like to thank all of our attendees for your interest in the Azure Marketplace and for joining us today to submit questions. I also want to extend a thank you to our panelists for participating in this conversation. We welcome your continued feedback. On the screen, you'll see links to a few resources to learn more. On Microsoft Learn, you'll find new commercial marketplace trainings and supporting documentation. And as I mentioned earlier, we'd also welcome your participation in the new Insiders program. Participants are contacted for feedback during the planning cycle and receive early access to new features. To participate, please go to that site and register. And then lastly, you can stay connected and engaged, ask additional questions, and find us by joining the Marketplace discussion on the community forum. We appreciate your interest and are looking forward to continuing the conversation. Thank you again for joining us today.